Dear conference participants, I would like to present a report on the topic Patterns of PM10 particles change in the atmospheric air of Ivano-Frankivsk city. Particulate matter belong to the main pollutants of atmospheric air, which cause serious concern for health. PM10, which diameter doesn't exceed 10 micrometers, are able to penetrate deep into the lungs and enter the blood, causing cardiovascular, cerebrovascular, respiratory, and other diseases. And the main sources of PM10 in the atmospheric air are the anthropogenic factors. Air quality standards in the European Union regarding PM are determined by Directive on Ambient Air Quality and Cleaner Air for Europe. In Europe, the limit values are the daily PM10 concentration should be 50 micrograms per cubic meter, no more than 35 excesses per year, and the average annual value should be 40 micrograms per cubic meter. In 2021, the World Health Organization issued new guidelines for air quality, such as the daily average limit value for PM10 of 45 micrograms per cubic meter and an annual average limit of 15 micrograms per cubic meter. European Union standards are currently being revised. Spatio-temporal patterns of particle distribution may differ depending on specific meteorological and geographical conditions, sources of pollution. The work of Italian researchers illustrates the main results of the process of spatial temporal interpolation of PM10 concentration with the daily resolution using a set of 410 monitoring locations in Italy for 2015. The result of the model is a set of 365 daily PM10 maps of Italy with a grid of 1 kilometer per 1 kilometer. Taiwanese researchers investigated spatial temporal patterns of PM based on a number of methods. PM 2.5 or PM10 have been found to vary over time and space, depending on weather conditions and the spatial distribution of land use and emission patterns in local areas. Satellite-based measurements of aerosol optical depths offer the possibility of estimating impacts on populations in locations without monitoring stations. And analysis of spatial and temporal pollutants variations and their possible sources in urban areas of Istanbul show that PM10 concentrations demonstrate significant variations across the city, with current PM10 levels in several traffic hotspots and industrial areas exceeding European Union air quality limit. The temporal distribution was characterized by high concentrations in winter and low in summer. An equally important aspect is the study of the relationships between PM10 concentration and meteorological characteristics. Meteorological conditions such as temperature, humidity, wind, and atmospheric pressure can affect the concentration, distribution, and transport of PM10. Chinese researchers studied seasonal changes and their impact on aerosol concentrations. The results revealed pronounced seasonal variability in fine particles, with the highest concentration in summer and the lowest in spring. A group of scientists from Bangladesh studied the relationship between the average daily temperature, relative humidity, precipitation, and concentrations of the main air pollutants in the city of Dhaka according to data from the period of 2013-2017. The main results are negative correlations of PM2.5 and PM10 concentrations with temperature and relative humidity, different effects of meteorological parameters, seasonal fluctuations on the air pollutants concentration, the adequacy of various models application for the solid particles modeling. There is no systematic state control of PM10 concentration in Ivano-Frankivsk city, which is a regional center with a population of about 250,000 people. There is one stationary air quality monitoring post in Ivano-Frankivsk Regional Center for Hydrometeorology of the State Emergency Service of Ukraine. Here, pollutant concentrations are measured 4 times a day. The content of general dust, undifferentiated by size, sulfur, nitrogen dioxide, carbon oxide is assessed. Also, the state institution Ivano-Frankivsk Regional Center for Disease Control and Prevention of the Ministry of Health of Ukraine monitors the atmospheric air pollution condition at 20 route observation points on the border of enterprises sanitary protection zones within residential buildings in the influence of highway zones, etc. In 2023, Ivano-Frankivsk City Council approved the state monitoring program in the field of atmospheric air protection of the Ivano-Frankivsk agglomeration for 2023-2027. The program provides for the modernization of the atmospheric air quality monitoring system, but this requires significant capital investments, the purchase and installation of a complex of equipment at a stationary observation point for automatic operational fixed measurements. The aim of our research was to establish spatio-temporal regularities in the distribution of solid particles and the meteorological parameters of atmospheric air. Due to the lack of necessary data from official sources, data from a public air quality monitoring station became a substitute. We used a database of one EcoCity station. The station is located in the central part of Ivano-Frankivsk within the historical and architectural protected territory of local importance. There are no significant stationary pollution sources and highways near the observation site. The database included hourly measurements of PM10 concentration, air temperature, atmospheric pressure, and relative humidity for 306 days in 2019 from March to December, with a total of 7,344 measurements for each parameter. Certain irregularities in the time variation of PM10 concentration were found. In the daily variation of PM10 concentration, a decrease in concentration is observed from a maximum of about midnight to a minimum of about 4 p.m. with an intermediate increase and stabilization at 10-11 a.m. The proposed sinusoidal model reflects the distribution of data in the morning from 5 to 11 a.m. quite well. The seasonal variability of PM10 concentrations is characterized by higher values in the cold season. The highest monthly average PM10 values are in March, the lowest in July. There are significant fluctuations in average daily concentrations from 0 to 100 micrograms per cubic meter, especially in the cold season. 442 instantaneous indicators are above the daily average limit value of 50 micrograms per cubic meter. The identified daily and seasonal patterns are likely related to such factors as meteorological conditions, pollution sources, or atmospheric chemistry, which requires further investigation. Relationship between PM10 concentrations and meteorological conditions. There is a relationship between PM10 concentrations and air temperature. During the day, nighttime temperatures are always lower than daytime temperatures, and during the year, higher particle concentrations during cold periods. Thanks for your attention.